Power does not reside in armies, gold, or titles. It begins quietly, invisibly, inside the mind. A person with wealth but a weak mind is easily manipulated, controlled, or destroyed. A person with nothing but a disciplined mind can dominate circumstances, bend reality to their will, and become untouchable. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He saw that emotions are not guides. They are tools. Used poorly, they chain you. Used correctly, they can be weapons. The moment you allow your anger, your desire for love, your fear of judgment to dictate your decisions, you surrender your power. The world does not reward effort. It does not reward goodness. It rewards clarity, discipline, and ruthless precision. Most people live as though the world owes them recognition or comfort. They wait for approval, for applause, for permission to move. But the truth is brutal. The world does not notice weakness until it is exploited. Discipline is what separates the weak from the untouchable. Discipline allows you to think ahead, to move before others realize there is movement to make. Discipline allows you to endure scorn, discomfort, and the resentment of others without bending or breaking. This video is not about fleeting motivation. Motivation fades. Motivation is cheap. This is about building a mind so strong, so unassailable, that no circumstance, no person, no manipulation can shake it. By the time you finish this, you will begin to understand that mental mastery is not a luxury. It is survival. It is the first battlefield, and it is the one most people surrender without even realizing it. Weakness begins in thought long before it manifests in action. Strength begins in the mind long before it shows in victory. The chains that bind most people are invisible. The chains of approval, fear, and need are the heaviest, most binding of all. And the first lesson of Machiavelli, and the first promise of this video, is that you can break those chains. You can move beyond the need to be liked, beyond the fear of judgment, and beyond the limitations imposed by your own emotional weakness. This is not for the comfortable. This is not for those who wish to be liked by everyone, who hope to avoid discomfort or conflict. Those people will never watch this video to the end. But if you are still here, it means something is different in you. Something refuses to bow. Something refuses to be tamed. You are about to take the first step toward becoming mentally untouchable. Not motivated, not admired, untouchable. Weakness begins quietly, almost invisibly, and it begins with a craving no one talks about, the need to be approved. From the moment most people are born, they are trained to seek it. Parents, teachers, peers, society itself conditions us to live for applause, for praise, for acceptance. Every compliment becomes a chain, every disapproval a shock that bends the will. Most people do not realize they are prisoners because the bars are invisible. They do not see that every decision, every hesitation, every compromise they make is guided by the quiet, relentless fear of being judged, rejected, or laughed at. Machiavelli would have called this the first enemy, the first chain that must be broken before you can rule yourself, before you can even begin to influence the world around you. He understood that people who live for validation are predictable. Predictable people are controllable. They are manipulated not by force, but by the subtle play of opinion, rumor, and social expectation. If you have spent your life seeking approval, you are, in a sense, already a puppet, dancing to the strings of whoever holds the louder voice, the sharper word, or the greater capacity to shame. Look at your own life for a moment. How often do you speak what you truly believe? And how often do you speak what you think others want to hear? How often do you move according to your own plan? And how often do you pause because of fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of losing acceptance? These questions are not rhetorical. They are the markers of chains. the signs of habits that have been reinforced for years. Breaking free is not easy. It requires seeing yourself clearly and admitting that, yes, most of the decisions you make are shaped by fear and desire to please rather than strategy or principle. When you confront this, something remarkable happens. The first time you act without seeking permission from the approval of others, you feel a small shock of power. It is intoxicating because it is foreign. You notice immediately how many people around you are still dancing for applause, how many move like marionettes, how many wait, hesitate, and compromise because they are still chained. Their chains are visible in their eyes, in their speech, in their hesitation. And you see clearly that once you cut your own chains, once you destroy the need for validation, you move in a way that is unpredictable. You are no longer readable. You are no longer a target because there is nothing to manipulate. This is the moment where mental strength begins. To break this first chain is to refuse the leash of social approval. It is to see that praise is a tool others can use against you and to take away its power. Machiavelli knew that rulers, warriors, and anyone who seeks influence must first rule themselves. He knew that no external conquest is possible while the mind remains shackled. To rule yourself, you must confront the uncomfortable truth that most people will never like you, most will never approve, and some will actively resent your independence. The fear that most people live under, fear of rejection, is not just a personal weakness. It is a vulnerability others can exploit. Ask yourself, do I speak my truth or do I perform for others? Do I follow my plan or do I wait for applause before moving? Every compromise is another link. Every hesitation is another chain. Break them, destroy them, not for ego, not for arrogance, but because freedom begins where approval ends. When you cut this cord, the world begins to bend to your clarity. You are no longer predicting what others want from you. You are choosing what you will give to the world, and you are doing it on your terms, entirely unshackled. Most people spend their lives chasing love, affection, and approval. They measure success by the smiles they collect, the likes, the compliments, the fleeting sense of connection. But Machiavelli understood a deeper truth. Love is unreliable. It is volatile. It comes and goes as easily as the wind changes direction. People give affection freely, but they withdraw it just as quickly. To build power, to become untouchable, you cannot depend on something so fragile, so transient. Fear, rooted in respect, is different. Fear is steady. Fear is predictable. When people recognize that you act according to your own principles, that you move with purpose and are not swayed by their opinions, they respect you. They may not like you, and they may even resent you. But that resentment is a mark of your independence, a sign that you are free where they remain trapped. Independence is a threat to those conditioned to seek approval, and that threat is power. The moment you stop chasing affection, you stop being vulnerable to it. Your emotions no longer guide you. Your judgment does. When people realize that their praise cannot manipulate you and their disapproval cannot sway you, you gain a quiet authority that is far stronger than charm or flattery. You become untouchable in the sense that your mind is no longer their battlefield. You move freely, and the world notices it. People feel it even if they cannot articulate it. They may call you cold, distant, or arrogant, but they cannot influence your decisions because your mind is your own. This is not a call to cruelty, nor is it an invitation to isolate yourself. It is a call to mental sovereignty. By refusing to bend to the whims of others' affection, you establish a foundation that no manipulation can shake. Machiavelli warned rulers and leaders that it is far safer to be feared than loved, not because cruelty is admired, but because fear grounded in respect ensures stability. Those who rely on love are at the mercy of every mood and whim. Those who act with disciplined independence are untouchable. Notice how the world reacts to true independence. People will envy it, misunderstand it, and attempt to challenge it. That is precisely the point. If they do not resent you, if they do not feel the subtle pressure of your freedom, then you have not yet broken your chains fully. Respect that resentment. Let it remind you that you are no longer bound, that your actions are no longer dictated by the fragile approval of others. Your freedom is your weapon. Your mind is your fortress. In short, love and approval are fleeting illusions. Fear, rooted in respect, is strength. When you stop giving your power away to the fleeting desires of others, you begin to command the world without needing to prove yourself. You begin to act, and in acting decisively, you move ahead, while the majority remain trapped in a cycle of seeking validation. The moment you reach this state, you can see clearly that mental autonomy is not about isolation or cruelty. It is about untouchable clarity, a discipline that no one can sway. The opinions of others should be like the wind, noticeable but powerless. Most people live as though every whisper, every glance, every judgment carries the weight of destiny. They bend, they falter, they compromise because the world's approval or disapproval feels like chains around their wrists. But when you achieve mental autonomy, these judgments no longer touch you. You notice them, you observe them, and then you move exactly as you planned, completely unshaken. This is what it means to be untouchable. Look around. Watch those who live trapped in the need to be liked. They adjust their words mid-sentence to avoid conflict. They shrink from decisions that might provoke criticism. They postpone action because they fear the world's gaze. Their chains are invisible, but they are suffocating. And yet, they do not even realize it. Most people never question why they hesitate, why they overthink, why they constantly seek reassurance. They are puppets. Their strings are social approval, and they do not even see who is holding them. Your advantage comes when you break free. The moment you no longer live for validation, you can move freely. You can make decisions without hesitation, act without apology, and pursue what others cannot even imagine, because their minds are shackled. This is the essence of strategic freedom, not reckless action, but disciplined autonomy. You are no longer a product of circumstance, of judgment, of fleeting opinion. You become the master of your own mind. Mental discipline does not mean abandoning caution. It does not mean charging recklessly into danger. It means observing, calculating, and acting with precision, while others remain entangled in fear of judgment. Most people will never reach this state because they mistake popularity for power, approval for influence. But when you reach it, you see clearly that the world is full of opportunities that others will never seize because they are too busy trying to be liked. Their indecision is your advantage. Their hesitation is your path forward. Being untouchable mentally is not a final destination. It is a process, a practice, a way of life. It requires constant awareness of when others are attempting to influence you and ruthless dedication to your own principles. Each time you act according to your plan, rather than theirs, your power grows. Each time you resist the pull of approval, each time you prioritize strategy over opinion, your mind becomes sharper, more formidable, more untouchable. You are no longer prey to the whims of others. You are the predator, observing, calculating, and moving at will. Most people live as prey. Every choice, every thought, every action is filtered through a single question. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I lose? Their minds are conditioned to react, not to act. They scan the world for threats, hoping to remain invisible, hoping not to be chosen as a target, hoping that life will spare them the pain of exposure. This is weakness, and it is everywhere. It is subtle, almost invisible, but it is deadly. Machiavelli despised this mentality because it leaves a person completely vulnerable. Those who hesitate are eaten first, not because they are weaker, but because they wait to see what others will do. A predator thinks differently. A predator does not wait for permission, does not pause out of fear, does not scan endlessly for approval. A predator acts with purpose. A predator sees openings that others cannot see because their fear clouds their vision. A predator asks questions no prey ever considers. Where is the weakness? How can I move before anyone else sees the opportunity? What advantage lies in patience, and what advantage lies in boldness? These questions are not theoretical. They are the framework of decisive action. To shift from prey to predator, you must first understand that vulnerability invites domination. Hesitation, compromise, and dependence on approval are the chains that allow others to dictate your life. Breaking them is not just a mental exercise, it is a strategic necessity. Every time you allow fear of judgment to influence your choice, you give someone else the opportunity to exploit you. Every time you defer action to avoid discomfort, you lose a chance that may never return. Predators do not wait. Predators move first, calculate quickly, and strike with precision. This mindset is not about recklessness or cruelty. It is about strategy, control, and timing. Predators are calm, observing, and patient. They do not rush blindly at every opportunity, but they do not hesitate when the moment to act arrives. Their advantage lies in preparation and perception, in the clarity that comes from a mind free of distraction, free of chains, free of the need for approval. They see the field as it truly is, not as they wish it to be, and they move where others cannot, where others dare not, where others will never notice until it is too late. The transformation from prey to predator is not a single act. It is a continuous process. It requires constant self-awareness, constant questioning, and constant commitment to independence. It requires understanding that every action you take is either a demonstration of freedom or a concession to weakness. The predator does not rely on luck. The predator does not hope. The predator creates the conditions for success by mastering themselves first, by anticipating the moves of others, and by acting with precision when opportunity appears. This is not a metaphor. This is reality. The world is full of prey, and their hesitation creates openings for those willing to act decisively. Every delay is a loss. Every fear-driven choice is a vulnerability. To survive and to dominate, you must become the predator. You must train your mind to move before the moment arrives, to see what others cannot see, and to act when others are paralyzed. Opportunities are everywhere, but most people never seize them because they hesitate. They wait. They overthink. They calculate endlessly without ever moving. They wait for perfect timing, perfect conditions, perfect approval. But the truth is, there is no perfect moment. Fortune does not wait. Life does not pause for indecision. The world rewards those who act decisively and punishes those who hesitate. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He taught that the moment fortune opens a door, you must walk through it immediately. Delay is weakness, hesitation is vulnerability, and inaction is surrender. Most people allow fear of judgment, fear of failure, or fear of loss to dictate their choices. They imagine all the ways things could go wrong while ignoring the ways they could go right. They let imagined consequences outweigh potential gains. But fear, if properly understood, can be an engine rather than a leash. Fear of loss, the real cost of missing an opportunity, is far more powerful than fear of failure. The prey worries about making a mistake. The predator worries about missing the chance entirely. The predator knows that hesitation often carries a higher cost than action. Strategic action requires clarity, observation, and timing. It requires seeing the field, understanding the players, and moving with precision when the opening appears. It is not reckless. It is not impulsive. It is controlled, calculated, and intentional. Every move a predator makes is deliberate. Every pause is purposeful. They strike only when the advantage is clear, but when the moment comes, they act without hesitation because indecision is fatal. This principle applies to every part of life. In your career, hesitation allows others to claim the opportunities you deserve. In relationships, overthinking and fear of judgment leave you passive while others take the initiative. In ambitions, waiting for approval or perfect conditions ensures that someone else will achieve what you only imagined. Strategic action means acting decisively when the moment presents itself. It means seeing the path clearly and moving with purpose, while the majority remain frozen in fear and doubt. The predator's advantage is not just in action, it is in preparation. Observation, planning, and mental discipline allow you to strike decisively the moment opportunity appears. The prey waits for permission. The predator creates the conditions to act. Every decision, every step, every moment of boldness is backed by awareness, foresight, and clarity. When others hesitate, you move. When others second-guess, you execute. When others falter under the weight of fear, you step forward because your mind is untouchable, your autonomy complete, and your purpose clear. Strategic action is not simply movement. It is mastery over hesitation, fear, and external influence. It is the bridge between mental discipline and tangible results. Hesitation is a luxury only the weak can afford. Those who are mentally untouchable recognize it as a trap. They move with timing, precision, and decisiveness, seizing what is theirs, while others are still lost in indecision. This is the difference between prey and predator. The willingness to act when others cannot. Boldness is not simply acting without fear. Boldness without discipline is recklessness. Most people mistake desperation or anger for courage, thinking that aggressive, impulsive action is strength. But Machiavelli knew that true power is always measured by the mind behind the action. Boldness must be tempered with calculation. It is a sharp blade, not a swinging club. Those who act rashly are prey in disguise. Those who act boldly with discipline are predators in reality. Observe the world carefully. People who charge forward without thought often achieve nothing. They burn bridges, waste resources, and alert others to their movements before they can strike. They are loud, impatient, and reactive. This is the behavior of prey masquerading as strength. The truly bold, the truly powerful, act with precision. They watch, they wait, they calculate, and they strike at the perfect moment. Their confidence is quiet, their presence measured, and their intentions clear to themselves, but invisible to others until executed. Discipline turns boldness into a weapon. It allows a person to act decisively, even in the face of fear, because fear is no longer a chain. It is a signal. It is a tool to measure risk, to weigh opportunity, and to prepare the mind for action. The bold but disciplined person understands that patience amplifies power, that timing amplifies effect, and that clarity amplifies influence. Rashness is weak. Calculation is power. Impulsiveness is vulnerability. Observation and precision are dominance. Fortune favors the bold, Machiavelli said, but this is often misunderstood. Fortune does not favor the loud or the reckless. Fortune favors those who prepare, who act decisively when the moment arrives, and who have disciplined their mind to see opportunity others cannot. Boldness alone is not enough. It must be a product of mastery, foresight, and unshakable autonomy. This is why most people fail even when they are brave. They lack the mental discipline to direct their courage effectively. Boldness, when disciplined, also has another effect. It intimidates. Others sense it, even if they do not consciously understand it. People who hesitate see your calm decisiveness and feel a subtle pressure they cannot resist. They may resent it. They may try to undermine it. But your boldness, paired with calculation, keeps you untouchable. It signals that you are no longer swayed by fear, that you act with purpose, and that you do not wait for permission from anyone. True power is quiet, controlled, and undeniable. In short, boldness without discipline is chaos. Boldness with discipline is mastery. It is the ability to move with precision, to strike with timing, and to dominate the field while others flounder in hesitation and fear. Every calculated action reinforces your autonomy. Every measured strike confirms your independence, and every moment of strategic courage solidifies your position as untouchable. Those who master this principle operate on a level above the majority of the world, who are still trapped in fear, doubt, and the need for approval. The first victory is never external. It is internal. The battlefield of the mind is the only one that truly matters, and until you have mastered it, every other conquest is fragile, temporary, and incomplete. Mental mastery is not an abstract concept. It is the foundation of all power. To transform your mind, you must first kill the need for approval. You must shatter the chains that make you predictable. Every action taken for praise, every hesitation caused by fear of judgment, every compromise made to be liked must end. These are the anchors holding you to mediocrity, and the moment you release them, you begin to see clearly. Start by observing the world without attachment to how others perceive you. Watch people scramble for approval, bend for praise, and adjust for validation. See how they are trapped, how their decisions are dictated not by reality, but by the fragile opinions of others. And then see yourself moving differently. You are no longer reactive. You are no longer a participant in the petty games of approval and judgment. You are free. You are strategic. You are untouchable. This transformation is uncomfortable because freedom always is. It exposes you to resentment. People will call you cold, arrogant, or ruthless, not because you have changed, but because your independence makes them aware of their own chains. Accept it. Embrace it. Let it remind you that you are no longer controlled by others. The discomfort is a sign that you are doing exactly what you must do. Thinking for yourself, acting for yourself, and living according to your own principles, rather than the fleeting whims of others. Begin to see the world strategically rather than emotionally. Every interaction, every decision, every opportunity becomes a field of potential advantage. Your mind is no longer clouded by the need to be liked or approved. You can move before others see the opening, act decisively when hesitation freezes the crowd, and create conditions for success where most see only chaos. This is not about becoming cold-hearted. It is about becoming clear-eyed. It is about using the discipline of the mind to navigate the world rather than letting the world navigate you. The challenge is simple but brutal. Embrace discomfort, accept resentment, and rise above mediocrity. Most people will never do this. Most people will live and die as prey, trapped by fear, by approval, by hesitation. But you are not most people. You have begun to break the first chains, sharpen the first edges, and cultivate the mental autonomy that makes action precise and decisive. The journey is not complete, but the foundation is laid. From here, every choice, every act, every thought can be directed by strategy, not reaction. Every move you make becomes purposeful, every hesitation eliminated, and every fear transformed into a tool. Mental mastery is the first and most crucial victory. Everything else, success, influence, power, follows from it. The moment you kill the need for approval, shatter the chains of predictability, and act with disciplined autonomy, you step into a realm most people will never reach. You become untouchable, not in a way that demands admiration, but in a way that demands respect. Not in a way that wins fleeting love, but in a way that ensures your actions cannot be controlled or anticipated by others. This is the point where transformation becomes visible. Others will notice your independence, and they may resent it. They may whisper, They may doubt. They may challenge you. That is exactly what it means to be free. Their discomfort is a reflection of your strength. Your power is quiet, calculated, and undeniable. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You do not act for applause. You act because your mind has become a fortress. Your judgment is precise, your vision clear, and your purpose unshakable. Now is the moment to commit. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for external validation. Begin by observing, calculating, and acting according to your own principles. Start small if you must, but start. Every decision taken from discipline rather than fear strengthens the mind. Every choice made without seeking approval shatters another invisible chain. Every calculated action reinforces your autonomy. This is not a game. This is the reality of power. It begins and ends in the mind. If you have followed this video this far, you have already begun the first step. Engaging with these ideas is proof that you are willing to think differently, to see beyond the ordinary, and to reject the herd mentality. Like this video. Subscribe. Do not do it for praise. Do it as a declaration of intent, that you are committed to the discipline of the mind, that you are willing to embrace discomfort, and that you are prepared to act strategically in a world full of hesitation. The final Machiavellian truth is simple, yet devastating in its power. The mind is the first battlefield. Win it, and you shape reality itself. Lose it, and the world shapes you. Discipline your thoughts. Sharpen your judgment. Command yourself before commanding others. Become the predator where others remain prey. Become untouchable. This is the principle that underlies all mastery. The world is unforgiving, but your mind is limitless. Control it, and nothing can control you.